What's up, everybody? This is Danny Mathematics here with another example to explore. And today, guys, I want to teach all of my viewers how to add, subtract, and simplify polynomials, okay? We're going to be adding, subtracting, and simplifying polynomials, okay? So what we have right now, guys, we have example 1 and example 2. Let's start off with example 1. I have parentheses 10x to the 5th power minus 6x minus 10x to the 3rd power, parentheses close, minus parentheses 10x minus 2x to the 5th power minus 14x to the 4th power, parentheses closed. Okay? So what we need to do, guys, is we need to actually simplify that particular, no, you good. What we need to do is we need to simplify this particular polynomial. And the first thing that we need to do, guys, is we need to distribute both of these values or these expressions outside of the parentheses, okay? Now, let's start off with the first one. And we always look to see if there's a number that's attached to the parentheses on the outside. There's no number, so when there is not a number, the number is automatically an imaginary 1. And then we know that anything times 1 stays the same, right? It equals itself. So because I'm multiplying everything inside this parentheses by 1, everything will come out the same. Okay, once again, everything will come out the same because I'm multiplying by 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite everything the same outside of that parentheses. Okay, so I still have 10x to the 5th power because 1 times 10x to the 5th power is 10x to the 5th power. Okay, 1 times negative 6x is negative 6x, so that's going to be minus 6x. Okay? And then 1 times negative 10x to the 3rd power is negative 10x to the 3rd power. So that's going to be minus 10x to the 3rd power. Okay? Now, we have to do the same thing for the values and expressions that are inside that particular parentheses, right? But if you notice, guys, we're actually subtracting this parentheses. So the number that's attached on the outside, even though you don't see a number, right, it's going to be a negative number. And since you don't see a number, it's going to be an imaginary negative 1. Okay, it's going to be imaginary negative 1. And if I multiply anything by negative 1, it's going to become its opposite, okay? So everything that I multiply will become the opposite because I'm multiplying by negative 1, right? So everything will become its opposite, and you will see as I demonstrate, okay? So negative 1 times 10x is actually negative 10x. So that's going to be minus 10x. Negative 1 times negative 2x to the 5th power is actually a positive 2x to the 5th power. So that's going to be plus 2x to the 5th power. And then negative 1 times negative 14x to the 4th power is going to be a positive 14x to the 4th power. So that's going to be a plus 14x to the 4th power. All right? So now, guys, we have successfully distributed out of the parentheses, but the last thing that we need to do, guys, is simplify. And the way that we simplify, guys, is simply combining all like terms. So combining like terms. That's all we're going to do, guys. We're going to combine like terms, right? So the way we do that is, guys, we look at the variable, okay? We have x, right? But if you notice, x is to different degrees, right? So let's actually list the different degrees that x is to, right? So we have x to the 5th power, right? The next highest degree that I see that x is to is x to the 4th power. The next highest degree is x to the 3rd power. I don't see an x to the 2nd power, so I can skip that. But I do see an x to the 1st power, and I don't see any constants or any numbers, so I can skip that. So all we need to do is, guys, is we need to combine all like terms that are a part of each particular group, okay? So let's start off with x to the 5th power. So I'm going to underline all the values that has x to the 5th power. One value is 10x to the 5th power. And then the next value I see is a positive 2x to the 5th power. All right, 10x to the 5th power plus 2x to the 5th power is 12x to the 5th power. So I can cross these two out. And if I combine those two, it's going to become 12x to the 5th power. Okay? I'm done with that. Now the next power, guys, that I'm checking is x to the 4th power. X to the 4th power. As I scan the remaining values, the only value that I see where x is to the 4th power is this particular value right here, which is a positive 14x to the 4th power. That's the only one. So all I need to do, guys, is just bring it down. So I'm done with that one. And I'm just going to bring that down. So that's going to be plus 14x to the 4th power. All right. The next one, guys, that we have is going to be x to the 3rd power. So let's combine all the values where x is to the 3rd power. The only value that I see where x is to the 3rd power is this negative 10x cubed, okay, which is this one, right? And also, guys, if there's a sign that's in front of the value, that sign is associated with that value, okay? So once again, this is the only one, which is negative 10x to the 3rd power or minus 10x to the 3rd power, okay? And then the last group that we need to combine is this x, or x to the 1st power. And it's the remaining two values that I see, which is a negative 6x and a negative 10x, right? Negative 6 plus negative 10 is a negative 16. So that actually becomes negative 16x or minus 16x. Okay? And once again, guys, I cannot combine these because each x is to a different degree or a different power. So whenever it's to a different power or a different degree, we can't combine them. All we can do is this create this expression. That's it. That's all we can do is create this expression. And this expression is fully simplified. Okay? So once again, guys, we have successfully simplified this particular polynomial. So our final answer is 12x to the 5th power plus 14x to the 4th power minus 10x to the 3rd power minus 16x. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and just do example 2 real quick. Same thing, guys. You see that we have these two expressions inside of parentheses, so we need to distribute. There's no number that's in front of this parentheses, well, lets me know that it's an imaginary one. It's an imaginary one, right? And anything times 1 equals itself, right? So 1 times 12x squared is still going to be 12x squared. Okay? 1 times negative 2x is going to be negative 2x or minus 2x. And then 1 times 1 is just 1, right? So that's going to be a plus 1. So as you can see, guys, everything stayed the same. Okay? Everything stayed the same. Because I multiplied by a positive 1, right? So everything stayed the same. But if you notice, guys, we're subtracting the next parentheses, the expression that's within the next parentheses, right? And there's no number that's attached on the outside. So since we're subtracting, that's going to actually be a negative 1. A negative 1. So we're actually going to be distributing with negative 1. Okay, we're going to multiply everything up in here by negative 1, which will have everything become its opposite. Okay, if you multiply by negative 1, that value is going to become its opposite. Okay, so negative 1 times negative 13x squared is actually a positive 13x squared. So I'm gonna write plus 13x squared. Okay, -1 times 2x is actually gonna be a negative 2x. Okay, and then -1 times 50 is gonna be a negative 50. Okay, now, once again, guys, the next thing that we need to do, guys, is to combine like terms. Combine like terms. Oops. Combine like terms. All right, so let's look at the variable. I have x to the second power, so that's going to be the highest degree, so I'm going to put x to the second power. All right, the next degree is just x to the first power. And then, as you can see, guys, we have some constants or some numbers. So I'm just going to put the pound sign representing just regular numbers, okay? So those are the three groups that we need to combine. Let's start off with the first group. Let's do x to the second power, all right? I do see two values where x is to the second power. That's 12x to the second power and a plus 13x or a positive 13x to the second power. 12 plus 13 is 25. So if we combine those, that'll be 25x to the second power. So that's going to be 25x to the second power, okay? So now I'm done with this particular group. Now my next group, guys, is this x, or x to the first power. I'm going to combine all of those terms, okay? So I see a negative 2x to the, a negative 2x, right? And I see another negative 2x. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is actually negative 4. So that's going to become negative 4x, or minus 4x. Okay? So I can cross these two out. Boom, 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 and I'm done with that. Now the last thing, guys, is just numbers, right? It's just the numbers that we have, or the constants that we have, right? Which is a positive 1 and a negative 50. 1 minus 50 is a negative 49. 1 minus 50 is a negative 49, or a minus 49. Okay? And once again, guys, I can't combine x to the first power with x to the second power. I can't add those together because they are not alike. And of course, I can't add a number to a variable. So that is as simplified as we can become. All right, so our final answer is 25x squared minus 4x minus 49. Thank y'all so much, guys, for tuning in. And once again, guys, these are two examples of how we can add, subtract, and multiply and simplify polynomials, because we added and we subtracted. And then also when we were distributing, we were multiplying as well. So this is how we simplify polynomials. Thank y'all so much, guys, for tuning in. Have a great day.